Hi. Hey there. Let me turn up the volume. All right. Hey everybody. Welcome. My name is Dr. Ravin Milton, PharmD, and I am here to do another episode of RX Info on the Go. So give me just a second. I'm going to do what I normally do. Share this to my page, to my regular page rather, and tag some people. So if you would do the same, I'd appreciate it. If you could like, tag, and share just to get the word out, I would appreciate it. Also, if you don't mind, hit that follow button on my page, as well as hitting the follow button on my YouTube channel, which is still Dr. Ravin PharmD, as well as my Instagram account. That one is Dr. Ravin PharmD as well. So go ahead, invite some people. This is information that you may want to know. We're talking about copays and insurance today. So take one little second to share it, and I'll do the same. I hope everybody's having an amazing day. See you. Here we go. Do. Okay, so I have done the deed and shared and all that other good stuff. So let's hop on into it. We are talking about copays today in insurance. Copays and insurance can be a little bit confusing for people. You end up signing up for your insurance, and after that, you're like, okay, well, what happens next? Some of us are lucky to be able to sign up for insurance, and some of us have to go through the healthcare.gov, which is the healthcare market, where you do sign up for insurance there. Sometimes we have it provided by our jobs. Sometimes you're having to go through other means. Sometimes your insurance is through the state, like Medicaid, when you need assistance. And when you hit 65, then you're eligible for Medicare, Part A and B, and then sometimes Part D. So we're going to be talking about all things insurance and copays today, specifically when we're talking about prescriptions. Now, prescription insurance and prescription copays are a little bit different than your regular insurance through your medical or your dental. We all have copays that are, set forth that are on your card, but prescription insurance seems to get a little bit more difficult for some reason. And I just want to explain a few things that you may not know. So, first and foremost, do you have copays on prescriptions when you have prescription insurance? Yes. Now, what your copays may be are really determined by the type of plan that you have. You may have a plan that you have generics that are set at a $0 copay or maybe a $10 copay, and then brand names that are set at maybe like a $20 copay or $25 copay. Where it gets a little tricky is that if you are getting a brand name medication and that's considered a non-formulary brand name medication, that medication may be more than what your normal brand name copay is. So say for instance, you are getting a product called Jardiance, that's for diabetes. That one may be on your particular formulary, and it may be your $25 copay. But if you were to get something like Ozempic or Mounjaro, that one couldn't be a non-formulary product, and that one could end up being a little bit more expensive, say somewhere, like a 50% of the cost or something of that sort. So just keep in mind that when you are getting your medications and you are picking up your prescription, it says on your card, it may say your generic copay is this amount and your brand copay is this amount, but keep in mind there still are what's considered non-formulary brands, and those non-formulary brands can be more than what your regular brand name copay is. It's a whole lot. It's kind of crazy, but those are the little loopholes that insurance companies have there. In addition to that, insurance companies have what's called a complete formulary. So it could be a generic medication that's not listed on your formulary, and your insurance company will require what's called a prior authorization. Now, what a prior authorization means is that your doctor's office has to call the insurance company or send them a form, fax, email, some type of communication that tells them why you need to be on this particular medication, this specific one that is not on their formulary, in order for them to cover the medication. Now, I know you're like, well, my doctor wrote the prescription. Isn't that enough? No, insurance companies have this formulary thing, and there's that list of all of these different medications, different classes that they are willing to pay for. They have had a doctor as well as a pharmacist, or doctors and pharmacists, come up with what they would deem is the necessary treatment for you. So when you sign up, hey, T-Net, when you sign up for your insurance, just make sure that you take a look at that packet that they give you. They will give you either a packet, well, back in the day, they used to mail out a packet, but now you will probably have access to their online account. They'll register you for an online account. You go to their website and you can pull up their formulary, or even just type in a search for what would be covered concerning your medications. Now, it's no fun to have to go to the doctor and, your doctor says, hey, this is the best medicine for you. But you go to the pharmacy and the pharmacy says, well, we can't dispense it to you unless you want to pay cash. Otherwise, the doctor has to call the insurance company to get it covered for you. That's prior authorization. Sometimes it's a quick process. Sometimes it could be, as short as within 24 hours, just depending on how diligent your doctor is or how, common they are with the prior authorization process. Sometimes it takes days and, sometimes weeks. I've even seen it, take at least a week for the doctor to even get it covered. They'll sometimes have to go back and forth with the insurance company to do an appeal. So if it's something that you absolutely positively have to have, this is the only thing that'll work for you, your doctor can go in and do an appeal for you. Unfortunately, those appeals aren't always the fastest thing to do, but it is an option for you. So just keep in mind, if your doctor writes for a medication and it's not on your formulary, and this is something that your doctor absolutely wants you to have, he can indeed file an appeal on your behalf so that you can get that medication. Now, that process is not quick, but it's worth it if this is the treatment that you absolutely positively need. Please be patient with your pharmacist and your pharmacy. What many don't understand is that when we submit a claim to your insurance, we don't set your copays. We don't set your copays. We don't choose what is covered by your insurance. This is something that we are not doing in-house. We submit a claim to your insurance company electronically, and they tell us what to collect, as in the amount to collect, and they also tell us whether or not it's going to be covered. Or if something, sometimes they will suggest another medication instead of the one that is being written. So we are literally, when it comes to dispensing your medications in the and including your insurance, we are literally the middleman. When I say literally, we are literally the middleman. We get the prescription from the doctor, we process it, we, shoot that information over to your insurance electronically. They come back and say, nope, we're not going to cover it, or yeah, we'll cover it, and here's your copay. Now, the next thing that most people don't think about is deductibles. Sometimes you have a prescription plan that will have a deductible attached to it. Sometimes that can be a high deductible. I've seen some as high as $10,000. Sometimes that's a low deductible. I've seen some as low as like $200 when it concerns your prescriptions. Sometimes you don't have a deductible at all, but it really just depends on your plan. There are medical deductibles, and then there are also prescription deductibles. Now, the prescription deductible versus your medical deductible can be separate, or it can be all rolled out into one. I've had a plan before where it was all rolled into one with my medical as well as my prescription deductible. I didn't quite meet it on the medical side, but when I went to pick up my prescription, my copay was higher. At that time, I had what was called an HSA card, which is a health savings card, where the company that I worked for at the time put money aside to help with that deductible. So I could use that particular card to pay for prescriptions as well as pay for my copays at my doctor's office until that money ran out, and then the remainder was left on me. At that time, I had a high deductible plan, which was about $10,000. And just depending on what you're having done or what's being billed, that can kind of be hard to reach, depending on how healthy or not healthy of a person you are. So just keep that in mind. HSA cards, do I suggest them? HSA really depends on the structure of your plan. So I won't say that it's always a good thing, but if you have this type of HSA or FSA program where it allows you to put money into that card, and also that is money that you can put aside that's not being taxed, then that's a good card. In addition to that, if you have an HSA card that's going to help, eat up, if your company is giving you a large amount, that's helping you to eat up towards your deductible, and it's not all just you having to fund it, then that's a good card as well. But if you have an HSA card that's kind of on the lower side, good afternoon, Elder V. If you have an HSA card that's kind of on the lower side and your company's not putting much into it and you're going to end up having to come out of pocket, then that's really not, the route for you to go. You have to look at all the bells and whistles that are coming along with that HSA card. Some of them will allow you to purchase things over the counter. Some of them will allow you to put, just about everything that's medically related towards it. But again, it just depends on the amount that your company is willing to put towards it, the amount that you have to put towards it. If there are tax breaks that are, associated with it, there's a lot of research you would have to do to say whether or not an HSA will be for you. My particular plan that I currently have, we don't have an HSA plan, but we have really good copays across the board for doctor's visits as well as emergency room visits, and our deductible for, for family versus individual. We have a really good plan. It is kind of pricey, but it is worth it in the end. So when you are doing your research on all of these different plans, and your company may offer, several different plans, just make sure you at least read everything and reach out to someone who may know a little bit more. You don't want to make a decision that you're going to end up having to spend money later on, or more money than what you expected to spend later on. So reach out to someone, your pharmacist, your health care administrator at the office, your HSA, your HR people that sign people up for this all the time. They may be able to help you pick the plan that's best for you concerning and taking into account your health conditions and everything else. I know for me, I can remember when I was with Walmart, and I had Kyron at that time, who had several different things going on. Kyron was blind. Kyron had, cerebral palsy. He had seizures. We pretty much stayed in a doctor's office. We had several appointments, all throughout the year. So it was in my best interest to get the highest plan, to make sure that we didn't have to eat anything on the end, if that makes sense. Because we got the highest plan, our deductibles were always low, our copays were always low, but we essentially paid for it up front when we signed up for the insurance. And that's what you're having to think about. It's the same thing, kind of like with homeowners insurance and car insurance. What do you want your deductible to be? What do you want your plan to look like? If something happens in your home, do you want to have to pay a 1% deductible or 2% deductible? Or I've even seen 3% deductibles. I'm experiencing it right now. I had water damage in my home, and I had to do I have a 1% deductible on my plan. So, and that can get pretty pricey depending on the price of your home. So think of your, prescription plans and your medical plans the same kind of way. So that's just something to think about. Let's see. So we've talked about your copays, and we've talked about deductibles. We talked a little bit about prior authorizations. There's just a lot that goes into prescriptions, and there are some things that we would call specialty medications. So specialty medications are most likely going to be your injectables that are typically used for things like rheumatoid arthritis, autoimmune disease types medications. Those are going to be your specialty medications, and because they are considered specialty medications, 9 times out of 10, your insurance will not cover them at your local pharmacy, but they may cover them through mail order or through a specialty pharmacy. So keep that in mind. If you're one that has an injection, like say Humira or Repatha is not as bad. Repatha is one of the ones for cholesterol, so it's a little bit more likely you can get it through your pharmacy. But there are some injections out there that cost, literally, the actual cost of them can be up to $5,000 or more. Those are specialty medications that your local pharmacy won't be able to provide for you, because your insurance will block you into what's called a specialty pharmacy or a mail order pharmacy that will provide it for you. What your copay would look like will be strictly based on what that plan has established for those types of medications, because they are pretty pricey. There are medications out there that cost even more than the $5,000, more than the $10,000, just depending on what you're dealing with. Chemo treatments for cancer are not cheap. You will most likely, if you're doing an oral chemo, you can possibly get those through your pharmacy at a normal copay. But if you're doing infusions and those type of treatments, that's not something that you will go through your local pharmacy for. Just keep that kind of thing in mind. Are there any more questions before I kind of move on to the next thing? I saw I answered Tally's question about HSA. Okay, here's another good point. So when you do have a high deductible plan and you are on a brand name medication, you can actually eat up your deductible if you have a coupon for that brand name medication. So I know for me, at one point in time, I was on acne medication called Epiduo. And Epiduo had a manufacturer coupon that brought the copay down to like either $0 or $10, something of that sort. But the medication in itself was about $500. So that what would happen is that the prescription would be submitted to my insurance, my prescription insurance, and that would hit my deductible. So my copay would be like, I don't know, the actual $500 or a little under $500. That was a little bit of a discount, but not much. And then the remainder of that will be applied to the coupon card. Well, the coupon card ate up the cost of what I was supposed to pay, but it also helped work down my deductible. So these are some things that to, think about, that if you're on this brand name medication, always look out for those manufacturer coupons. Now, there are some websites that will act as if it is a brand name manufacturer coupon, but it's really not. It's just a discount card. Be mindful. There are little discount cards that are portraying themselves as the real coupon, manufacturer coupon for that medication, and they're not. Typically, the manufacturer coupons that you are able to get are available from the medication's website. So the name of the medication is going to be in there along with the manufacturer's name as well. Eliquis, for example, if you go to Eliquis's website, you will see sign up for this manufacturer coupon. Eliquis even goes as far as having you fill out questions concerning what type of treatment you're undergoing for using the Eliquis. And you can get a copay assistance card in addition to that. So it's not just, the copay card that's available on the website. If you don't qualify for that copay card, you can get into a program assistance for that particular medication. That happens with a lot of brand name medications because think about it, these things become pricey, but they're necessary medications for you to take. And these companies know that. So some of them, I believe GlaxoSmithKline has a really good patient assistance program for a long list of their medications. If you are ever having a problem with paying for your medicines, please talk to your pharmacist or your doctor. Sometimes they will have samples of that medication that can hold you over because your copays are too high. And you have a deductible and you haven't met that deductible yet. But you need the medicine. Sometimes your doctors can give you samples. Sometimes your pharmacist can help you find a coupon or an assistance program that will help you get your, medicines. But you have to ask. You have to, say to them, hey, I need help in this area. And I know that's really hard for us to do at times. But it's something that you really have to, say, because we don't know what your financial, what your financial outlook is. We don't know what you have or what you can pay for. But if you would just ask the question, if you would just say, hey, I can't afford this. Is there another option, or is there a way for me to get this cheaper? Then 9 times out of 10, they're willing to help. I do this on a daily basis. I'll have patients that come in and they'll say, hey, that's, way too much for me. And I say, okay, let me see if I can look up a coupon, find the coupon, help them fill out the information to get the coupon, and we apply it right there on the spot. But that's something that's necessary, but you have to speak up. You have to, again, I've said it before and I'll say it again, you have to advocate for yourself and for your family members. And that's why I'm putting this information out there, so that you will know that there are options for you. You are not just stuck with having to pay this high, ridiculous copay on your medications. This leads me to something different. If you are, taking a certain medication and that medication is too high for you, pharmacists have this wealth of knowledge of what medications work exactly the same way that was, as the one that was written for you. Ask them if there's a substitute. See if they can call the doctor and help you get something different. But you have to be vocal about it. There are a lot of places, the big boxes especially, they are, a lot busier than what some of your independent pharmacies are. They may not, necessarily offer it because they're so busy, but if you have a rapport with them, if you, come to them and, and ask, they'll 9 times out of 10, they'll help you. You will find some that are not so personable, but I would like to say that is not the face of our profession. We are not the, the mean pharmacists that don't want to help you. When I entered into pharmacy school and actually graduated pharmacy school, one of the things that was said about pharmacists was that we were the most trusted profession and the most compassionate. We're also the most accessible. So I try to live by that. I try to be that for my patients along the way. I try to help as much as I possibly can. But again, please be an advocate for yourself or for your family member, and try to ask the questions that need to be asked, or just simply let someone know, hey, this is, and you don't have to be mean about it. We all know that times are trying, but just simply say, hey, I can't afford this. Can you help? It takes a big person to ask for help. And I know most of us don't like to. But when you do, there's people out there that are willing to help. So that's that part. Let's see. In addition to that, I don't know. There's so much information about copays and insurance plans. My main thing would be, when you are signing up for your insurance plan, please, please, please get information ahead of time. If you have a loved one that is signing up for Medicare Part D, there are Medicare specialists out there who look at your list of medications, and they'll say, well, this particular Medicare plan, here's going to be your premium. This is what your copays are going to look like throughout the year. And there's this thing called a coverage gap for Medicare patients. So essentially with Medicare patients, it's a little bit different from your commercial patients. Once you hit 65 and you're taking on Medicare Part D, Medicare Part A, B, and D. And let me clarify what those are. So Medicare Part A and B are your hospital and your hospital's plan, where you are able to bill your hospitals and doctors. A and B, or B specifically, will also cover diabetic supplies, so that you can get them from like a DME pharmacy. They also cover DME supplies, walkers, rollers, anything like that you would need to, like home health aid type products. They are covered by Medicare Part B. Because we know our elderly gets older, they need assistance with walking. They're going to need canes, things like that, to help them continue to live a quality filled life. Medicare Part B will pay for that. However, you have to have a prescription for it, and you have to get it from a DME pharmacy, and not every pharmacy is a DME pharmacy. Medicare B, Part B, as in boy, will also pay for transplant medications, so it does not go through your regular prescription insurance. It'll go through Medicare Part B because transplant medications can be really pricey. They will pick up the cost on that. Sometimes you do have a copay. I believe it's like an 80-20 split, or you'll end up paying 20%. But that's just something else that Medicare Part B does. So they'll pick up diabetic supplies, they'll pick up home health aid, they'll pick up transplant drugs, they'll also actually pick up some insulins. This is all on Medicare Part B. So if you have someone that is on Medicare A and B, this is what Medicare Part B does. Medicare A picks up the hospital. Medicare Part D, as in dog, picks up your prescription medications for your elderly. Now, with that comes the different types of plans, and there's a ton of them. And I mean a ton. There are countless different plans, but there are Medicare specialists that are available to help you sign up for the best one that will take into consideration what your premium would be for the year, what your deductible would be for the year, and what your out-of-pocket cost for all of your medications would be for the year. At one point in time, when Medicare Part D first came out, pharmacists were helping with this, but then they kind of took pharmacists away from helping because there was that, I guess, people were abusing it, to a point of getting people to come to their pharmacy. So choosing plans that would make them go to their pharmacy. That's not something that's really done anymore. There are separate Medicare specialists out there just to help enroll your Medicare patients into a plan that's right for them. There are deductibles with Medicare Part D plans, and there's also this thing called a coverage gap or a donut hole. They are supposed to be doing away with that in the years to come, I believe. However, that coverage gap is something that makes the prices of all of the medications go really high until they hit this out-of-pocket cost. Now, I don't know what the exact numbers are this year because they change from year to year. They really do. Essentially, you will have a deductible, or you have, an initial benefit cost with Medicare. And then it goes over to, after a certain amount of money that you've spent, and that's considering the medicine that you're getting, say it goes up to like $5,000 of initial cost, and you hit what's called a donut hole or a coverage gap. And at that point, it's about $7,500 out of pocket, I believe, that you would have to spend. Don't quote me on that because, like I said, it has changed from year to year. And after you spent that total amount out of pocket, then you go to catastrophic, and at catastrophic, you're paying 5% of the cost of the medicine. So Medicare Part D is a little tricky, but if you have the same meds that you've been taking for years and your medications are not really changing, then you can kind of get a good view of what your copays are going to look like for the year. Now, with that being said, this portion that I'm about to say applies to all insurance plans. If your insurance comes back with this super high copay, you can always ask the pharmacy, what is the cash price without my insurance? That is an option. You are able to say, hey, what does this cost without being applied to my insurance? Because sometimes it actually is cheaper, without the insurance than what it is with the insurance. So the insurance has a contracted price with the pharmacy. And unfortunately, sometimes that varies from pharmacy to pharmacy. You don't always get to choose the pharmacy that you want to go to because it may be cheaper for the PBM is what we call them, Pharmacy Benefits Manager. It may be cheaper for them for you to go to this particular pharmacy versus going to the pharmacy that you would choose. But you are able to say, hey, what's the actual cost of this blood pressure medicine without the insurance. And sometimes it's cheaper. I would go that route. It's all about getting what you need. And if you can't pay for your medicines because of your insurance, then what's the point of even having the insurance, right? So just keep all of those things in mind. I've been on here going for a little bit. Insurance and pharmacy prescriptions, it's a lot of information, and it can be overwhelming. It can be absolutely overwhelming. But there are people out there that can help you with that. I'm one of them. If you are needing help with any of your prescription information, or if you're needing help with, just a simple question, a copay cost, or anything of that sort, those questions, I'm willing to help you out with. Currently, I'm building a structure where, and I said I would announce this later, before, I think a couple of weeks ago, I said I was going to announce something big. So here it goes. I am currently in a process of working on a structure where I can do medication reviews with you. That means that you would bring your medications to me, your medication list to me, not physically, but, of course you would, we would set up a call and we would talk about all of your different medications, what those medications look like for you, interaction-wise, a total review of everything that you're taking, including medications that are over the counter, as well as your prescription medications and what those side effects might look like. So just the whole shebang. That's something that I'm working on right now, providing for you, because let's just be honest, your pharmacist that's in your local pharmacy, they don't really have the time to give you that detailed information. And I'm here to fill in the gap for you. I want to give you information that you need on a daily basis, but also to go into the things that you need specifically for you. So if there's something that you need, inbox me and we can talk about it. Right now, I'm offering a 15-minute free consultation. You will bring your information to me and we can go over it as much as we can in 15 minutes and go from there. If it's something that you like, then, we'll talk about what we can do in the future for you. But my goal is to help you be the healthiest person that you can be, to be able to be on the right medications. And it's what I've been doing for the past 20 plus years of my life. I can't believe that I've actually been in this industry since 1997. That's when the first time I started working at Eckert as a pharmacy cashier, believe it or not. I was a cashier before I was a technician, and then from a technician to an intern to a pharmacist. So pharmacy has been my passion for quite some time, and is my desire to help you the best way that I know how. And I know that time is limited for people, resources are limited for people, and I would like to fill in that gap for you. So you can inbox me, you can DM me directly on this page, or you can go to my website, which is www.drravinpharmd.com. You can send me a message on there. I do have a business phone, which is available on the website as well. You can shoot me text messages on that business line. But just know that I'm here to fill in the gap for you. So I'll have some more information coming about that. And if you have any questions now, you can, like I said, contact me on in my inbox, DM me or whatever. And don't forget to go back and watch those other videos that I've put out there. I think this is video number 6 that I've done, and I am really excited about being able to provide this information for you. It's really fun to do, and as you can tell, I don't stop talking. when you've been doing something your entire life, it's kind of hard to stop talking about it. And I just want to get that information to you. So go to my YouTube channel, subscribe, watch the other videos that are there, go to my Facebook page, and, you know, follow that as well so you can get notifications of when I go live. I really appreciate those who are tuning in, who have watched, and who are rocking with me. Thank y'all so much. I'm just trying to do what God has put me here to do, and I love y'all. So I will talk to y'all next week. Not sure what the topic's going to be, but I'm pretty sure it'll be something you need, because that's what I'm here for. And if you need to do any consultations, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Have a great day, and love y'all.